Epic Games is a video and software developer notably attributed to the title Fortnite. It is a game that people love, and they recently came out with a video talking about their art process. Judging by the title of this video, you already know what we're gonna get into. So don't send hate to any parties involved, and let's delve into this. This is posted by Unreal Engine on Twitter, writing, "Here's a look at how Epic's artists approach concept work. From blank canvas to final concepts, they sketch, block out, and refine using traditional tools and evolving ones like Nano Banana, which is AI, with the artist's vision driving the ever-evolving process from start to finish."
So we thought this would be a good moment to pull back the curtain and give you a peek at how artists at Epic are making digital art and content, blending traditional tools like Blender and Photoshop with evolving technologies like Nano Banana and GPT Image used within our own internal interface.
Yep, and GPT Image.
Character concept artist draws a character from scratch. Just a blank canvas and an idea. Base pose first, loose, gestural, a little contrapposto to give her some life.
This character is a falconer, so the artist sketches in a bird to help reinforce the character's identity.
Yeah, we love that.
He moves into color blocking, then tightens up, defines her lines, working out the jacket design before moving into Gen Media Bridge. That's one of our internal tools built right into Photoshop. You draw, get assistance, and then paint some more.
Like when 3D artists pick their model to a 3D renderer to get a refined result, the artist here prompts Gen Media with some guardrails to help take the 2D rendering further on his concept.
Beyond just like GPT Image and Nano Banana, like these companies have their in-house models that they're using as part of the process. The fact that they just have this thing that's like, yeah, let me go feed my art into AI, clean it up, guys.
The third pass is solid, but it added a skull to the pouch and some details he did not ask for. He paints those out. The design is king. AI can generate generic stuff all day, but that's not what we're doing here.
No, the creative control.
I think it's so interesting because I saw a comment about this, a quote retweet that was like, there wouldn't be mistakes at this stage if the person just drew it, which I think is so funny.
Stays in the hands of the creator.
Absolutely. It just skips ahead in the timeline so he can focus on honing in on the design and crafting it exactly how he wants it to be.
I think that's honestly so sad because also, like, I don't know about you guys, but like my favorite part about art is the rendering process. And it's like, yeah, just you artists just become human boss and just churn out art as fast as possible. Give me a sketch, feed it into the AI, clean it up. All right, next, you know? You don't even get to do any of the fun work of the rendering.
Key art concept artist is building a more complex finished composition.
This briefs an aspirational suburban location with a lighthearted tone. He lands on a yarn store and a cat character, then goes through several names, ends up with Yarn Barn, and wants a mouse on the roof to play off the cat. Classic cat and mouse. Now it goes into Blender to block out the scene in 3D, dragging and dropping pieces from an asset library exported from Unreal Engine source data. Meow Skulls, a cat character with the right aesthetic, is rigged and exported from the engine.
Once the scene is blocked, the Yarn Barn logo is cleaned up and projected onto the 3D geometry in Blender, with the mouse sign sculpted for the roof. Concept artists are jacks of all trades, so they do the basic modeling next, very quickly. What matters is getting to the image, not perfecting the mesh. From here, it's into Photoshop, where he paints over the image and uses Gen Media to accelerate the rendering process. These artists know that if anything changes drastically, it can be fixed manually.
And Chris, here's where we're seeing the real advances. Once the original artwork's established, you can start experimenting fast. Swap out Meow Skulls for her Cloud9 style, test the POI at different times a day, even run a meteor shower and see how it plays at this location. At every stage of the process, artists continue to polish and refine, but now teams can revise faster, so artists have more opportunities to explore. Last up, one of our environment concept artists is designing a POI, a drive-through diner with a 60s retro feel. It starts on a grid in Photoshop so his design conforms to the building system and can be broken out as modular pieces, working orthographically for control over design.
He blocks in the walls, duplicates them out, adds a protruding entrance with 2 pillars for an interesting side silhouette, then layers in a drive-through, outdoor seating, and variation to break up the shape. Then it's time for the branding. We love when buildings have a mascot, like Durburger or Pizza Pit. The winner here? A chubby, silly seal squashed between 2 pieces of bread and a plunger on the head for silhouette balance. The silly sandwich. Nailed it.
I love it. With the design done, he adds local flavors first, then shadows and specular to indicate form and material changes. Then he breaks the building into pieces along the grid lines, extracting modular components and solving the sides and drive-through window that the orthographic view didn't fully resolve. Then it's into Blender for a gray box blockout. Then the breakout sheet goes into Workflow Builder and Nano Banana Pro. prompting for clean PBR render shots and adjusting the perspective of the breakout pieces. The results are good, but not perfect one-to-one.
I just love how they keep saying the results are good, but not perfect one-to-one, you know, because if you had a person do it, it would look great.
Tower's boxy instead of tapered, awnings are the wrong color, some trims are missing. That's why it's a starting point, not a finish line. He paints over it in Photoshop and makes it exactly what he envisioned.
And now, Pep, the last step is to use the blockout screen cap from Blender to control the camera angle and bring it back into Photoshop for a sketch on top. Some foliage in the foreign background and a car in the drive-thru. He uses that sketch and the orthographic design as reference, runs another generative pass in Nano Banana Pro for a full contextual shot, then paints over that in Photoshop too. Trim colors, awnings, planters, background values to manually bring it back to the original design. The final piece goes to asset production alongside the breakout sheet so environment artists know exactly how the building is supposed to look.
All along the way, there are continual reviews before anything makes it into our game. And artists are careful to respect originality, track provenance of their work, and make sure the finished product meets Epic's high-quality standards.
I like the respect originality statement. I just think it's very interesting. People in the comments, they weren't liking it, you know? One of the top comments says, video opens with, quote, AI can generate generic stuff all day, but that's not what we're doing here, end quote. Then proceeds to make something so fundamentally generic and bland that I am at a loss of words. Somebody else says, this is mega lame. Another person says, I'd rather leave a company than force myself to use AI for the artistic process. Shameless behavior, even if it was forced by higher ups. Grow a spine and say no. And I think that gets tricky because on one hand, I want to say that in the ideal world, we can all leave jobs where we're being exploited and we can all leave jobs where we're not being treated right, whose values we disagree with. But in this economy, jobs are hard to find. I don't necessarily fault artists for staying when you don't really like or agree with what's happening, but you have kids or, you know, you have a partner who maybe is chronically ill. You need to put food on the table. You got to do what you got to do. I'm not going to fault you for that because at the end of the day, it is a privilege to be able to leave a paid situation you disagree with the values. And another comment says, just skip the AI part entirely. Let creative people be creative. Stop wasting money on this stuff. There's other people, though, that are big fans of it being like, wow, this is a great use of generative AI to allow artists to do art stuff. I do think it's interesting, though, because that video came out recently, right? And on March 24th, 2026, there is a post in epicgames.com on their news page where they cite that they're laying off 1,000 employees. That, alongside other things, are done to save $500 million. Interesting, they also added, since it's a thing now, I should note the layoffs aren't related to AI. To the extent it improves productivity, we want to have as many awesome developers developing great content and tech as we can. I think it's interesting they actually added that. You know, maybe they're not related, maybe they are related. But very interesting, 1,000 employees were laid off, and then now we get this. There was talk and suspicion about Fortnite and Epic Games using AI, and then now we have that video that came out. But I'm just curious about your thoughts. Do you like it? Do you not? What are your thoughts about that? There are people who think that's an ethical use of AI, being like, well, you know, this is a good use of AI. It allows artists to be creative. There's other people who just don't like generative AI, so they don't want it involved in the process no matter what, whether you think it's going to speed up the process and make it easier or not. I would love to hear your thoughts with respect in the comment section down below. And again, don't send hate or bully anybody. But if you like this video, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Don't forget to check me out on Etsy. I have digital art there for streamers and creators. I also have a coffee with free resources like a free sponsorship guide. And I'm trying to grow my alt Instagram account, catlante_IRL. I want to do like more crafty stuff on there. This top I like customized with studs that I put under it. I'm gonna make a video about it. And I don't know if the video is up by the time this video is up, but I plan on posting more stuff like that on my alt account. So yeah, hope to catch y'all there or in another one of my videos. Peace.